Click the link in the description for your free AMSOIL catalog. Before we get started, I'd like to give a quick shout out to some of our friends. The Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame. Search for them on Facebook. Central Minnesota Pond Racing. Search for them on Facebook. The historic Lancaster Motel for the ultimate Eastern trail riding adventure. Crane's Snowmobile Museum at 172 Main Street in Lancaster, New Hampshire. The Vintage Snowmobile Club of America Quarterly Magazine. The New Hampshire Snowmobile Museum at Bear Brook State Park in Allenstown, New Hampshire. If you decide to advertise with the Vintage Snowmobile Podcast, this could be your advertising message. Good evening and welcome to the podcast. I'm really glad you're here. I have a robust lineup of vintage snowmobile entertainment on tap for you tonight, but before we get into all of that, I want to make sure that everything is working properly. So if you can see my face and hear my voice, I'm going to ask you to leave a comment. Let me know that everything is working properly. Let me know where you're viewing this from and whether or not you are a first-time viewer or a regular viewer. Now, to our first-time viewers, thank you so very much for stopping by to check us out tonight. I hope you have a good time with us and decide to join us here each and every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We simulcast to 8 different places across Facebook and YouTube. So wherever you're viewing this tonight, circle back in 1 week's time and we'll be here waiting for you. Also, let me check one quick thing here. It looks like we're going out tonight on the Vintage Snowmobile Lovers Facebook page, which I've been having a lot of trouble with that, but it looks right now as though we've got some people watching. So if you're viewing from the Vintage Snowmobile Lovers Facebook page, just type VSL. Send me a comment with VSL, and we've got a ton of comments coming in, so this is encouraging. Let's see. Fred Schneider, first-time viewer from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Thanks so much, Fred, for coming on. We appreciate that. Hope you have a good time with us tonight. Kathy Gibbard says, great-looking antique machines. This is John Spranger Jr., a good friend of mine from Eland, Wisconsin. He said the trails are still closed. The weather is too warm. And yeah, I don't know why it's doing that, John. I know you were asking before, and I didn't have a chance to answer you about why it says Facebook user instead of your name. But let's be in touch here over the next week, see if we can get that squared away. Peter Chappell from Cuyahoga, New York. Regular viewers, Stacy and Art Fosler from Platkill, New York. Regular viewers. We also have Kevin Culhane coming in loud and clear from Sudbury, Ontario. And David from Alaska Railroad is here, says everything's working great. He's a regular viewer. Let's not keep our viewers, our guests waiting any longer. I'm going to bring them on, and we've got 3 guests tonight. Let me bring them on, and then I'm going to talk about what we're doing tonight. Just got to click the right buttons here. And yeah, we've got Josh Leverker in the house. We've got Greg Martin and our good friend Rob Hilditch. And sorry, I'm trying to get that graphic off the screen. There we go. Okay, so what we typically do on this podcast is we try to turn back time, go back into the 60s, the 70s, even to the 80s, and look at what was going on with snowmobiles at that time. Tonight is no different, with one exception. We're not going to turn the clock back quite as far. We're going to go back to the early 2000s. We've got Greg Martin on, and let me turn on his microphone. And Greg, nice to see you. Please tell us why you're here tonight.
Hello, Mike, and hello all the vintage snowmobile enthusiasts out there. We're here to discuss Blade snowmobiles, their manufacturings and their models, along with we're going to touch base on the Redline snowmobile, the Revolt, as well as the Scorpion, TKS, and Sidewinder.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. If anyone was reading the magazines at that time, there was quite a few articles covering that scene. And I know I was very interested in that. And of course, so many years have passed since then. I don't remember a lot of what I was reading, but I remember being very curious about it back in the day. And I think you were mentioning that you recently went to, I think it was a reunion for that community.
Yes, Mike. Actually, back in March 2022, I was very proud to put on a Blade 25th reunion anniversary. We had several sponsors, and we had a lot of help from our local snowmobile club, Turn Ridge Riders. It was a great 3-day event. We had 3 days of riding. We had approximately 50 people total. With COVID, there's several people that just couldn't make it, but these were guys from all over the country, as far as San Diego, California, all the way up to Evelyn, Minnesota. They came from all over the place. It was a great banquet with all kinds of goodies that we raffled off from several of our sponsors that helped promote this with us. And it was just a real fun event. Great riding. Couldn't ask for, the turnout turned out perfect, and the riding was perfecto.
Wonderful. Yeah, these images, it sure looks like everyone's having a great time.
Yes, sir. It was a really good time. We were, during our raffle, we were actually promoting to try to help our Tug Hill grooming, and we were able to donate over $2,000 towards grooming.
$2,000. Wonderful. Very cool. Very cool. Well, cool. So let's take a look at our menu for tonight. We're on item number 2. You've got a video clip that you sent me a couple of days ago about a 1999 Blade 7X2. You want to tell us about that?
Sure. When Team Fast entered the market several years, everybody knew about the M10 suspensions. From that point, the Carpeck brothers decided to build their own snowmobile at the time, and this was the mid-90s. Everything was real top secret, and every once in a while you'd hear a little spurt here or there through the magazines that something was up. Well, in 1998, late 1998, there was a promotion of the sled being revealed, and this is the first generation Blade. It was all top secret, and you actually had to be a special admittance in order to come in. And it was actually a tent that was set up with security around it. Wow. And yes, they allowed people in one by one, the snowmobile magazines, so on and so forth, to finally see the snowmobile that the Carpeck brothers came up with, the Blade. Wow. The Blade is a very special sled, especially the first generation. There was only 50 of them made. Each one is Roman numerically numbered. So each one, exactly what number you have. Out of the 50, there was 3 long tracks that were built that are known of. I've got 2 of them, and this one is really rather special that I'm going to be showing you tonight. This one actually came out of Montana. It sat in a trailer for many, many years. It was hardly ridden. The past person that owned it had health issues, and I was able to acquire this sled. But this is a very special sled. It's really neat. It's very well built, and the video will tell everybody what it's about.
Awesome. Let's take a look at that.
Sure.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Mike, for inviting me to the podcast. I'd like to show everyone a very special snowmobile. This is a 1999 Blade 7x2. The model 7x2 stands for 700 Twin. The snowmobile was released in 1999 and a few released in 2000. There was a total of 50 of them produced. Each and every one of them is marked by a Roman numeral and the date that it was built. This one, I believe, is number 43. There was 3 known to be long tracks. This is one of them. This one has a 136 rear skid with Olin shocks. And it also has, I believe it's an 1 3/4 paddle track on it. That is factory. These snowmobiles were built in secrecy and then promoted through the magazine that it was top secret. And they had a unveiling of these snowmobiles that took place at a secret location, and it was a private viewing of the snowmobile back in 1999. The snowmobile was extremely far ahead of its time. I'll show you some of the cool features. One of the cool features is that it has a switch on the front that you click on if you're on the side of the trail and your sled is off. It's an indicator that you're sitting on the side of the trail, which a lot of snowmobiles back then didn't have electric start and batteries and this, that, and the other. So it's kind of a unique design. Another really unique design while we were looking at the skid is I wanted to show everybody that these wheels on the snowmobile are really cool because they're actually slightly faced. And that's so when the track is spinning and the bars that run across the track hit them, it's a smooth transition. This snowmobile is built from carbon fiber. The tunnel, the belly pans, and the hood are all carbon fiber. This is the first snowmobile that actually had a true real full frame. As you can see, it's a full aluminum full frame. Along with that is the very unique front end. This front end is called a RAD, rocker arm displacement. And it works extremely well. It has a anti-sway system as well called a comp link. That is 2 bars that run across inside the chassis on an eccentric that basically pivot back and forth. And this eliminates bump steer into the corner. Kind of push on this here a little bit so you can kind of see how it works. Another unique design is that all the bolts in the front are wired, similar to a race car. When you look at the snowmobile, there's a lot of really neat features. We'll come on up and look at the gauges. The gauges are large digitally displayed gauges, first of its kind for that era. Handlebar controls are Polaris and equipped with factory carbon fiber hand gaiters. Well, there's a little confusion going on about the M10 suspensions and Polaris. So Polaris and Blade worked out a deal between the two companies that Blade needed engines for these sleds. So in exchange, Team Fast gave them the M10 suspension patent rights in exchange for engines and handlebar controls for these sleds. And that's the only thing that would be the same in comparison to Polaris. Otherwise, the chassis are completely their own. Let's pop the hood and take a look underneath. So you can see the hood opens up in a coffin style. Hinges are off to the left. The engines are mounted in reverse. Exhaust pipe facing the driver. Runs along and exits out the front left side. The 7x2s are powered with a Polaris 700 big block non-VES engine with TM 40 round slide Mikuni carburetors, and also has a very special air induction system. That's the air box, and that connects up to the hood, and the hood has an air channel that runs up through the hood and pulls air from inside the windshield. This keeps down on the snow dust. The drive system of this snowmobile is very unique and first of its kind to the snowmobile industry. We'll open up this cover here. And as you can see, there is no jack shaft. This has a gear case. So it's gear-to-gear drive system called a true pitch, right from Team Fast. Don't have to worry about any type of chain breakage or gear chain sprocket failure. These are extremely bulletproof and very reliable. This particular snowmobile was found in a trailer out in Montana that had sat in a trailer for many years. And I was very fortunate to acquire this sled. It's one of my pride and joys. It's all original, in very good condition. And it's one of my dream sleds. When I saw this machine back in 2000, when they started coming out in the magazines, it was one of those wow factors. And I believe that this snowmobile was also in Popular Mechanics. I hope that everyone enjoyed watching the video. I hope that this was informative. Thank you very much for joining us, and ride safe, everybody, and have a great season. Blade 7x2. Thank you for watching.
Oops, I had my microphone off. I have everyone's microphones off. Yeah, that is an outstanding video, Greg. We really appreciate that. And I'll open it up to Rob and Josh if they have any comments or questions.
How did they pick who got them, since you only made a few of them? Must have been a lot of people that wanted to buy them.
It's kind of a long story. They're, with only 50 being made, it's, they're hard to come by. And I call this collection the Dream Sled Collection. If you remember back in the day, they had a big article. Actually, I think it was either Snow Tech magazine or it might have been Snow Goer, but they did a big article on the Blade, the Redline, and the Scorpion as well. But yeah, these sleds they're just extremely rare. I was just fortunate to be able to find a couple of them. And as a kid, when you're growing up, and I wasn't necessarily a kid in 2000 when these sleds were coming about, but it was like, wow, you see your first Corvette. Yeah, it's just one of those things that you dream about getting.
Yeah.
For sure. Any questions, Josh, or comments? Or
No, I've Greg lives just down the valley from me, probably 10 minutes, and I've gone to his place. He's come to my place. I've seen his collection, ridden with him, so I've seen his collection. And I haven't seen the outline. I missed the outline there at the beginning of the podcast, but I'm sure we'll see a lot more of his collection as well as we get into it. But
so Jaws, has he let you drive that yet?
Not one of those, but he has been on one of my other blades. Yes, he has.
Yeah. Oh, has he?
We're like I say, we're 10 minutes from each other. We're in the same snowmobile club. So in the wintertime, we see a lot of each other. And same thing in the summer. So he's a car guy as well, and so am I. So we share the same passion in toys. So I'm out in the garage right now and surrounded by my toys.
nice.
But nope,
Cool
carry
deal.
on.
Nice. Because I know I had a chance to see those sleds at the VSCA event in June. And I have to say, that's the only time I've ever seen those in person. So that was a real treat to see that.
That was a large turnout.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
For sure. Oh, and we've got a ton of comments coming in here. Let's see. Find my space. Okay, here we go. Whammer Jammer says, nice machine, Greg. We've got Reese Flurry says, good evening to Josh and Rob. We've got Mike Skidmore. He says, I suppose my dream sled as of classics would be a 76 Yamaha SRT or SRX. I'm sorry.
I got one.
Nice.
A 340.
Nice. Perfect. Now, here's a comment. The blade must have been quite expensive when new. Any idea of what the price would have been when they were new?
Yes. The first generation blade, meaning the 1999 through 2000, their MSRP was right around 17,000. But when I was a dealer in 2003, our dealer, I had an HPO actually in my showroom floor, which was one of the models of the blade. That's their high performance 800. That sled MSRP was $27,000. So they were big money back then. Yes, they were.
Wow. And the nice thing about it, even though they're no longer in production, at least there's, I would imagine, a high level of collectible interest and demand for those.
Absolutely. And actually, Blade, my friends at Blade, David, Gerard, and Randy, they actually will build Blade snowmobiles special order. So if anybody is interested, definitely reach out to them. They will build you one special order.
Wonderful. We've got a few more comments coming in. We've got Peter Chappell. Rich Daly of Dynaport had one and sold one. Cool deal. And then Dominic Anthony Kane says hello from Michigan. Nice to see you, Dominic. He's a regular viewer. He's been on since pretty close to the beginning, I think. Mike Skidmore says, did anyone race a blade in cross-country races when they were new?
Actually, yes. Blade did have a snowcross team that they were building from. I know that there is a snowcross sled out there. But I do not know where it is, that one anyways. And I don't think it really went any further because of the living of the company themselves before they closed, unfortunately. But I know that, those guys, I mean, they're, up in Eveleth, Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, they're up there and, they're involved in everything. So, but I do know that it was in the plans for that. Yes.
Cool. So we've got one more comment, and then we're going to move on to the next item on the menu here. Mike Skidmore says the blade cost as much as a top of line Harley. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, they did.
When it comes to exclusivity, it's hard to find something more exclusive than that.
Exactly.
But, cool. So let's see. We are on item number 3. We've got a quick announcement to make. We're going to switch topics here and start talking about AMSOIL for a moment. Let me put Rob full screen here. And just got to click the right button. Here we go. Yeah, go ahead, Rob. It's the AMSOIL time of the week.
What do we got up this week for promotion?
Let me pop it on the screen here.
Oh, anybody buys $75 worth of AMSOIL? AMSOIL's going to give them 3 shop rags and 3 of the funnels. Every month, AMSOIL has a promotion thing. If you order $100 worth, you get free shipping. Right now, you order $75, they're going to include that. If you get a hold of Mike and become a preferred customer, you can get the best possible discount. Why pay retail when you can save 25% on all your products, have it shipped right to your house, and get their free promotion? To get a hold of Mike, his Zettel number should be on the bottom with his email.
Yeah, right in the description there.
Get
Absolutely.
a free catalog, tell you about all the products we have available.
For sure. And we'll pop this graphic on the screen too. The nice thing about this preferred customer program, it's a one-time fee of $10, and you on the order where you place that $10, where you select that for your $10, that makes you instantly eligible for those deep discounts and free shipping that Rob was talking about. So it really is the way to get the best possible value when ordering AMSOIL. And plus, you're eligible for all sorts of promotions and cashback things, birthday gifts, and all of this. It's really a wonderful deal. And if you click the link in the description, you'll see how to get started on all of that. And
you can get a free catalog, tell you about all the products we have available.
Yes, yeah, link in the description for that as well. Absolutely. Well, cool. I appreciate that, Rob. Let's take a look here. We're on item number 4. Now, Greg's going to tell us about another clip he shared with us. It's a 2005 Blade Outlaw. What are we about to look at?
Yeah. The Blade Outlaw was a machine that Blade was in development on. This particular machine is actually a 2003, but it was ready to go out to the public in 2005. So the Outlaw was based on the principle of basically they were looking at a snowmobile that you could cruise kind of from restaurant to restaurant or bar to bar. It's got quite the engine in it, and it's a, hey, look at me, to say the least. Really cool sled. They were well on their way to really bringing this thing to market. This particular one that we'll be showing this evening is serial number 001. It is the real McCoy. This was their R&D test sled. There is not another one in the world. And it's a really cool sled. As a matter of fact, it wasn't completely finished when I acquired it. The hood wasn't even built. There was just nothing but molds. So we had to have the hood actually molded and built. But it is a really neat snowmobile. I hope everybody enjoys the video.
For sure. Let's take a look at that.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Mike, for inviting me to the Vintage Snowmobile Podcast. I have another treat to show everyone. This is the 2005 Blade Outlaw. You'll find the article in Snow Tech magazine about this snowmobile. It's truly, truly advanced and amazing. So we'll move right on along. This is the Blade Outlaw. It was the only one produced. This is the original R&D, research and development snowmobile. This is equipped with a S&S Super Sidewinder, 100 cubic inch V-twin, big block engine. This machine is extremely special as it never made it to market. But they were into heavy research on developing the snowmobile for the following year to make it available for the 2005 snowmobile year. This is the original, serial number 001. It is equipped with a 121-inch track and M10 rear suspension. As you can see, the lugs are worn down on this track because it is the original track used when they were doing their R&D work on it. So it does have long travel suspension. It has a headlight fairing and also handlebar pod gauges. It is electric start. It does not have reverse for all reasons because it is a V-twin. A lot of work went into the development of this sled from the Carpeck brothers, and they are absolutely, truly amazing with what they were coming out with. This sled was really meant as a trail rider, kind of to go to bar, show off on the lake. I don't believe it was meant for really anything else other than, hey, look, I got a big V-twin sticking out of the hood. I can intimidate you just by looks. The headlight is based off of a Harley-Davidson V-Rod. Again, it has the same rad rocker arm displacement front end suspension. And just a really neat, very rare snowmobile. It does have custom pipes. These ones are not chrome. because they were the prototype. And you can see that it's got caution, high temperature and stuff right on there, as well as when you go down the running boards, it's got the custom Outlaw right in the panel. There is quite a story on this machine as well. This sled, when I was able to get a hold of it, the hood wasn't even manufactured as of yet. In the magazines you'll see a copy of the hood, but that is the actual mold, not the hood. So we got the mold and actually had hoods built. From what I know, there's 2 in existence. And this is what snowmobiling was all about in the 2000s, was thinking outside the box. You can see that I've got the famous David Karpek signature right there. Hopefully to get the rest of the boys, Randy and Gerard's signature on it as well, as this is truly a very extremely rare snowmobile, and it's a shower. So thank you for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much, and be safe, everyone, on the trails. We'll see you out there. Gotta love blades.
Yeah, that's like you said, that is a looker for sure. That's got to turn some heads when you show up somewhere with that.
What a cool looking machine. So how does it sound when you start it?
It's actually really silent. And that was all part of the R&D research on it. At those days, the EPA was coming down hard on pipes and the manufacturers to quieten them up.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, in 2003, at Heydays, Blade was there along with Redline, and Blade unveiled the Outlaw there. At the time when they were doing that, I was kind of part of the posse there with all the Blade guys. They had a set of straight pipes connected up to this sled. And let me tell you, and they aimed right down at the ground. And Gerard would come over and hit the key to that sled, and the ground would vibrate. And next thing you know, you've got all kinds of rubberneckers looking over at the Blade booth. And then they all crowded around.
Bring a crowd around, yeah.
Absolutely. It was just a great time. But yeah, unfortunately, this one, the muffler is a monster on this thing to quieten it down. I'm hoping maybe someday I can get a nice set of pipes to put on it, because it would be neat, because I do start it up here and there during shows, because it does sound incredible with the vibrations coming off the ground.
Nice. Now, we do have some comments coming in. Now, Mike Skidmore was asking, is that a Harley V-twin, or is that just similar design to the Harley V-twin?
That is an actual S&S V-twin, which is basically a Harley Davidson motor, if you want to say, but it's the high performance side. As you know, Harley Davidson obviously made their engines, and S&S made the race engine version of Harley Davidson's. So I know that during the production, during the R&D of this sled, Blade worked very hard with S&S on getting, this thing to work right. They blew up several engines to try to get this to run right. There is no chain case or gear drive in this sled. It's actually clutch to clutch, driven. The driven clutches right on the drive shaft, and it's monstrous, along with the drive cogs. If you notice, the tunnel on this sled is real tall, so it can accept the larger drives in there to get the gearing correct without having a gear drive system.
Sure. Now we get some more comments coming in here too. Mike Skidmore is also saying his 2008 Buell has the air-cooled 1203 cc V-twin. 103 horsepower Buell came out with their 1125 cc liquid-cooled 4-valve head overhead cam, 149 horsepower and 65 pounds lighter than the HD engine. And then says, I thought those mufflers looked big, he said. Cool. And
They are. They really are.
Sure. And then Dave Buska is wondering, what is the average dry weight of these blades?
Actually, for the 1999, the carbon fiber short track, meaning 121, their dry weight was 398 pounds, just under 400 pounds. So they were the lightest production snowmobile of its time in 1999. Now, the long travel obviously is going to weigh a little bit more. So I would place the long travel at maybe 420, if you want to say that, which is still incredibly light, even to today's standards.
For sure. For sure. And now we've got another question. How many years did Blade manufacture and sell sleds to the public?
From 1999 to 2004, maybe one or two slipped out in 05 before the doors were shut.
What was the total number, Bill?
More than 500 production sleds. That I can tell you and there's a difference between the two sleds, and we classify them. The consumer sleds that were made to public were basically 2001 through 04, 05. The 1999 and the 00s are special sleds, if you want to say, for the build. So there was over 500 actual blades that were produced. And I believe that's not including the 50 of the 99 model, the 7x2s.
Sure. And then we've got a comment from Scott Terry, says Blade was smart in using the Polaris motor. Redline tried to build their own, and that was a mistake. And,
I plead the fifth.
Sure, totally understand.
Yes.
Let's move on to the next question. Mike Skidmore says, I think S&S improved a lot of Harley's weak points.
That I would agree. Absolutely.
Sure. And then one final comment from Mike. He says his Buell is very quiet. The muffler has a servo that opens up when wide open.
That would be a neat feature. And again, that, stuff like this, you can only imagine where these companies could have gone, from the day that they opened their doors. I mean, till today. Who knows what a Blade would actually look like, or a Redline, or even a Scorpion, if the manufacturers would have kept going with their ideas. I mean, each one of these,
more they're advanced right now.
Exactly. I mean, it's just, you look at these snowmobiles and then you think to yourself, like, the gentlemen that have designed these snowmobiles, to me, in my book, they're real heroes. I mean, it takes a lot to stand up against 4 major manufacturers to come out with your own product, and then stand there to push it, and so it's not only the sleds themselves, it's the companies and the people that were behind each one of their products that it's just amazing to me.
Yeah, for sure. Now, before we switch gears on to the next sled, did you have any comments, Josh, before we move on? Or
no, I mean, I'll just agree with Greg there. You had the 4 main manufacturers, Polaris, Yamaha, Skidoo, and Cat. And the Carpex, Mouse was a wrench for Brad Hewlings in the late 70s, early 80s. And when Brad was, won the world championship and pretty much won every race in 81, I mean, Mouse was his head wrench. And then to go in and his brother Gerard doing the cross country racing on the RVs, if I'm correct, right, Greg?
Yep.
So he put Skidoo on the map with the cross country racing. So you had that, both brothers, and they were very good in design, how to, racing, wrenching, and to take on a vision and start manufacturing in the mid 90s and then evolve and start producing in the late 90s and go against the 4 main, the 4 manufacturers. I mean, that's a lot to be said. And the tooling and everything like that, the setup. And I think they were there. It was just, the prices were high. I mean, you're talking low 20s, mid 20s in the early 2000s. I mean, that would be $35,000 today, maybe, with inflation. Again, I've ridden one of Greg's blades, ridden with him, and they hold up to today's standards, with my new Cat and everything. So it's they were ahead of their time. It's just unfortunate they couldn't hang on for another year or two to really evolve. There's a lot of
get some more traction.
A lot of good history there, and everyone involved are great people. to this day. So.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, back in the day, these guys were buying brand new snowmobiles, in the, mid 90s and on throughout. And what's the first thing they do? They take their rear skid out and throw it away and throw an M10 underneath it. And that's all the Carpeck brothers, Randy, Gerard, and David. And for those guys who don't know who Mouse is, Mouse is David. That was his nickname back in the day. He was heavily involved with the Scorpion Oval Track team. I mean, he was one of the mechanics on the team. So these guys really know what they're doing, all of them. And, I can't be more proud to be friends with all of them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, cool. Let's see. We're on item number 5. We're about to look at a 2005 Redline Revolt 800. Tell us what we're about to look at.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, folks, this is a 2005 Redline Revolt. This particular machine was purchased and was actually sent to a dealer, and it was actually purchased. Now, the Redlines, there'd been a lot of controversy as far as how many were actually made. Well, to today, I can verify that there were 58 snowmobiles that have a serial number that were produced. Now, some of them came to the dealers complete, some of them did not. Some of them were actually even on the production line at the time when the doors closed. So, on that note, this is one of the actual productions. This is number 55 out of the 58. And there's just a long story with Redline. There was some that was recently found in Alaska that had been sitting up there for many years that were recently shipped down to the lower 48. There's been a big vat of parts inventory that had been recently been found as well. Along with the known 58 serial numbered sleds, there was several prototypes, and the prototype was a Redline Revolt as well, but we called them side shockers. Okay. The count is still on those. I know for my own personal that there are at least 4, maybe 5. And then on top of that, there is another one, a Redline, that is called an SX802 that was the snowcross version of the Redline lineup. Now, the SX802, there was only 3 of them ever produced out of the lineup. So on that note, basically, we're going to be looking at one of the production sleds. And the prototypes and even the race sled, there are differences between the two, but we'll be looking at the consumer model.
Perfect. Yeah, let's take a look. Well, sometimes it takes a moment to load here. Let's try it again. Sorry about that.
No problem, Mike.
There we go.
Hello, and thank you for the invitation to the Vintage Snowmobile Podcast. I'd like to introduce everybody to the up-and-coming new collector sleds, if you want to say. This is a 2005 Redline Revolt. This is number 55 of the 58 that were known to be built and make it out of the factory. This is a rather unique design. It was built off of the design of desert racing cars with a tubular frame. If you look at the suspension here, it's a very long travel that is extremely heavy duty, and it is equipped with Walker Evans racing shocks. It's very heavy duty, and they really were thinking ahead on durability when it comes to suspension on this machine. So we take a walk forward. You can see that the engine is placed in reverse with the exhaust going out the back. This has an upper and lower fuel tank, along with 44 millimeter Mikuni carburetors. I have the airbox off right now just so you can take a better gander of how this sled is put together. As you can see, it has Walker Evans long travel front shocks as well. And the A-arms are built tough. So you walk around the front of the sled, come over to the very unique design drive system on these snowmobiles. This has a Comet 4-ramp clutch, along with a Team G secondary clutch. And if you look right down in here, you can see that there is a coupler that separates the engine from the clutches to isolate vibrations from the clutches and the motor, and to keep the clutches in line at all time. Well, this has a drive case on it, which is a gear drive. So basically it has the driven shaft that goes into the case that goes down to a gear that connects to the main drive shaft that spins everything. This sled was in development and to come to market and really take the show. But unfortunately, the company ended up closing in 2005. As you can see, the long travel on this side, it's huge. My stand can barely hold it up. Also, which was a really neat feature, was the Pisani dual exhaust that came out the back. And this particular sled is equipped with what we call the Cyclops rear taillight assembly. These sleds were, again, very unique. Factory risers on the handlebars. It's got their own handlebar controls. As you can see, these came factory this way. Let me put the hood down so you guys can check out the gauges that are on this sled that are very unique as well. These are Redline gauges specifically for the sled. This sled is pretty special in my collection as it being number 55. You can see there's a signature there on the hood, and that is a signature from the CEO of Redline. And he signed it for me and makes it a little bit more special. But this is it. Very cool snowmobile, state-of-the-art, way ahead of its time. And boy, there's many of us that wish that this sled could have continued on. Just to let you guys know that I do have the inventory that was left over from the factory. And I will be putting several of these sleds together. They are prototypes. A couple of them are production frames and could possibly be available in the future. There's a long story that goes with these sleds, and they're just a very neat, beautiful machine. Still had a lot of R&D needed to be done before the actual release to the consumer. But unfortunately, the company just couldn't get it done. So thank you for watching, and yeah, you guys have a great and safe winter, and maybe we'll see you on the trails. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, very, very cool.
I'd love to see you on the trail with that, Greg.
I'd love to see myself on the trail with that, to be honest with you.
That thing is so advanced for, what was the 205, that one?
No, that one is the Redline Revolt.
What year is that?
Oh, it's a 2005. Yes.
2000. So
Yep.
much more advanced than all the other machines back in 2005.
It sure is. It sure is. They still had a long ways to go on that sled. I mean, they really did. And it's just unfortunate that, you know, I think at that time, 9/11 had happened, and just there's so much going on in the world at the time that really hurt all these companies. But yeah, I think that the Redline is really a favorite to many, because they were just so far in advance. I mean, they were, you know, like, you know, the Lamborghini, if you want to say, of snowmobiles, just with their looks and their design, and the way that they definitely present themselves. Yeah, that's one company that I really would have loved to see what, you know, 2024 or 2025 Redline would look like today. I mean, that would have been crazy.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now we've got someone asking who made the 800 engine on the Redline.
Okay, the engine, and I knew that we were probably going to get to this. The engine itself is a Redline design by Redline. Weber Manufacturing actually started the layout and started producing all the prototype motors. Then the contract was sent over to McPherson. McPherson was the actual manufacturer for the production engines. So there's a cross between the two. If you look at an earlier Redline side shocker, which is those engines actually were a dark gray in color, and they had a little bit more distinctive change in porting, where the production models are all silver engines, just like shown in the picture. And they were still smoothing out the rough edges even on that engine.
Well, cool. Let's see. We've got a few more comments. David from Alaska Railroad says he remembers when the Blade and the Redline came out. It was an exciting time for the snowmobile public. Absolutely.
Sure was.
And then we've got someone asking, says, I believe D&D in New York might still have a new Redline. Do we know anything about that? Or
Yes. Actually, unfortunately, those two are gone. The D&D SX802 they had, which was the actual R&D for Redline. That sled, unfortunately, it was sold along with the one that was in the crate a couple years back.
Sure. Oh. And then we've got Mike Skidmore saying he'd never heard of Redline, and he meant to say in his earlier comment today there were 3.5 snowmobile manufacturers. Yeah, so Yamaha would be the 0.5.
There you go.
Well, cool. Now we've got one more video to look at, and we're getting dangerously close on time here. Let me pull up the menu here. We're on item number 6. Any quick comments on this, Greg, before we take a look?
Sure. This is this is one of the prototypes. This is a 2000 Scorpion Sidewinder. A little bit of controversy on it. It does not have a serial number like the 15 that did make it out of the factory. But please enjoy the video. Let's check it out.
Let's take a look.
Hello, everyone, and thank you to the podcast. And thanks again, Mike, for inviting me. I have another sled that is pretty darn special. Back in the late 90s, a group got together and wanted to bring back the Scorpion. Well, the group of gentlemen got together, and this is what they came up with. This is the 2000 Scorpion Sidewinder. It's kind of hard to explain everything when it comes to the Scorpion, but we can talk specifically about this particular one. This sled did not come with an engine. It was supposed to come with a PSI motor. Unfortunately, this one, only the chassis made it out. This does have the Sidewinder decal kit, And there's much said if it's a prototype or not. It is a prototype in my mind, as 15 of these sleds are known to exist. Not meaning the Sidewinder, meaning the TK, that we know that there was approximately 15 of them that did make it. But anyhow, let's take a look at this sled. This is a Scorpion Sidewinder. Was supposed to be equipped with a PSI 150 horsepower 800cc engine. If you look at this snowmobile, it's got quite a few unique designs. It's got the gas tank and oil tank kind of all in one. As well as, if you look at the rear skid, is very similar to an AD Bovine Expert suspension. Have never ridden this snowmobile, so I can't tell you how well it handles. Someday I'm sure I will get to ride it. It does have a very unique front suspension on it. If you look here, you don't see any shocks or springs or anything. Well, this is a torsion bar front end, and we can take a look and open up the hood. These sleds came with Digitron gauges. This particular one I'm still working on, trying to gather up stuff for it. But this sled is equipped with a Polaris 800 engine. As you can see, it's got Polaris clutches, primary clutch, but it has its own special PSI. Actually, it's a Comet driven clutch on this. Pop this open, and this was a direct drive system, so there is no chain case. That's mounted directly to the drive shaft. As you can see, very unique. And then we'll take a look at this front suspension. This is a torsion bar front suspension, so the shocks are on the inside, and it has pivoting arms in there that actually rocker back and forth and squeeze the shocks. Thus, you're having your suspension travel. Now, the torsion arms are fully adjustable, so you can actually raise and lower the front end by these rods. And the idea was so if somebody wanted to drag race one of these sleds and lay it down low, it was pretty easily accomplished. This is another one of those sleds that are extremely rare. And it just didn't make it to market. Another very long story in history with these. It's really sad that this couldn't have happened. Another quick shot of the rear skid on it. You can see the rear suspension, how it is very similar to an Expert AD Bovine kit. But these are very neat, highly collectible, and unique in their own design. Oops, sorry about showing the old skedaddler. I'm into those too. But yeah, these are really neat snowmobiles, and I hope you guys enjoyed this little walk around of the 2000 Scorpion, powered by PSI Genesis. That is SRP, Scorpion Recreational Products, was bringing this to market. Thank you for your time. Have a good one, everybody.
Very cool. How cool would it have been to see Scorpion come back and stay back on the scene? That would be amazing.
The guys that were trying to make it happen were desperately trying hard. The sad part about Scorpion is that towards the end, literally only 15 of those sleds made it out. All of the inventory, motors, and everything got crushed on order. So there's nothing, very few parts left in the world, or even for these sleds. So, it's a tragedy. That would have been really neat to see what a Scorpion, who knows what a 2024 Scorpion would look like today,
For sure. Now we've just got a couple of minutes left. I've got some images we haven't looked at yet, and I want to just put it around the room here real quick, see if either Rob or Josh have any quick comments before we wind this down.
On the Scorpion, Greg, next time you bring that to a show, we'll get it run because that is a heavy sled.
I know. That is one thing I definitely have to say is that sled was like one of the production models that they were actually going to put in, and let go. And the thing of it is that they actually went from an aluminum chassis design, and then they switched over to a steel chassis. And I'm telling you, that sled is probably all of 600 pounds. Wouldn't you say, Josh?
All of that, especially with two guys with bad backs. When you bring that out of the trailer, I roll my eyes.
Yeah.
But it's a nice piece. That's the only setback on that one is it's a heavy girl. That's for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, it bent my dolly arm moving that thing. I mean, it's heavier than anything else that I got. Heavier than the Outlaw even. I mean, it's crazy.
It's
wow.
For sure.
Cool.
I'm sorry, Rob, I didn't catch none of that. You got his mic off?
No, I think we've got a difficult connection.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we've got a bad connection with you, Rob. But
can't hear you, Rob.
Yeah, that's a bummer. But I'm going to put up a couple of last images. This is an image we didn't look at when we were talking about your reunion that you had. And it might be on my end too, because everything I'm clicking has a delay on it. I'm clicking on this image. Here we go.
Okay.
So this is a bonfire that you guys had at that reunion event, which is very cool.
Yeah, this was the last night of the reunion. We had a bonfire and cookout. It was a ride-in, and David Karpek was there, Ken Harley was there, and a lot of great friends that came to attend. I can't say enough for everybody, all the sponsors and the Touring Ridge Riders, our club, and everybody that helped put this on. I mean, it was really a fun time. Everybody really enjoyed it.
Nice. And then I wanted to pop these images. I know you have some parts available. Do you want to talk these up real quick before we wind it down?
Sure. Just to let the viewers know, I do obtain the rest of the Redline inventory in the world. And I will be able to be putting brand new sleds together. Now to let everybody know that every nut, bolt, screw, and everything all came from Redline. So if anybody is interested, you can most certainly reach out to me on Facebook. I'm in upstate New York, and maybe we can make your dream come true and put a Redline in your garage as well.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And I was popping the comments on here. Let me pop the rest of these images of the parts that you're talking about.
Sure.
And
yeah, all this stuff is all brand new. If you would have looked at the last picture, Walker Evans shocks are brand new, still in the package. The frames are already all powder coated, most of them. There's a couple of them there that was in that picture that were actually the side shocker prototypes. Those two were really special. They were actually the first videos from Redline those sleds were in out in Montana when they were doing the R&D testing, and it was on YouTube. So pretty neat stuff.
Nice. And then good. One last comment, and then I need to switch screens. And I think you sent me a poster. I think this had to do with that reunion event.
Yes, just it's nice to show everybody. This was the Blade reunion 25th anniversary. This is everybody that came to attend. They signed this poster. It's just really special because there was so many special people and friends that came to enjoy, our time and our trails here on Tug Hill. And I just can't thank everybody enough, all the sponsors, and again, all the friends and our club members that helped sponsor and put this on.
Very cool. Yeah, I think we lost Rob. I think we must have a bad connection with him or something. But Glenn Ford, who I met in Old Forge, says, great show. How you doing, Glenn? I'm glad you're on here tonight. And so we have run a bit over, so we're going to have to wind down the program, but we'll give the last word, as always, to our friends at AMSOIL. But yeah, thank you to everyone who's come on tonight, both Greg and Josh and Rob, as well as all the viewers who are on here tonight. And we have a lot more viewers in the house than normal because Vintage Snowmobile Lovers, that Facebook page is now able to connect with the interface I use to simulcast this out. So we've got a much larger audience than normal. We love seeing that. I think that explains a lot of the comments. We had comments flooding in here tonight, and I apologize to people if I didn't get to your comment. They were coming at me hot and heavy, and I couldn't keep up with it. We've got one last comment. Here we go. David Green says, "Great show. Love it." Wonderful. All right. Well, thanks, gentlemen. As always, the last word goes to AMSOIL. And if you enjoyed what you saw here tonight, circle back here in 1 week's time, and we'll be waiting for you for another episode.
Well, thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. And thank you for inviting me to the show. And you too, Josh.
Thanks, Mike, and good job, Greg. Good show tonight.
Cool deal. Have a good one, guys. Hello, everyone. This is Rob and Mike. How you doing today, Rob?
I'm doing good, Mike. Yourself?
Very well. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Now, today, we're going to be talking about AMSOIL. And in a few moments, we're going to show you how you can get the deepest discounts, free shipping, and free gifts when you order your AMSOIL products through us. But first, I'm going to ask Rob to give you a quick description of what AMSOIL is and why you should consider using AMSOIL products in your motorized vehicles.
Thanks, Mike. AMSOIL is 100% synthetic oil. Everybody uses AMSOIL for a different reason. Some people like the benefits that AMSOIL is warranted for 25,000 miles or 1 year. The reason we can do that is because AMSOIL doesn't oxidize. It doesn't form the usual carbons, gums, sludges like petroleum oils do. That's why we can keep it in the engines longer. Petroleum oils never do wear out. They oxidize themselves. That's why they have to be changed at 3,000 kilometers. And AMSOIL likes the benefit that you only have to change the oil once a year. That saves some money. Some of the people like the benefit of AMSOIL is it's a slipperier type lube. By having a slipperier type lube, it cuts down friction drag. By less friction and drag, engines run 20 to 50 degrees cooler, better gas mileage. Now, AMSOIL says 25% more protection than the industry requires is in the AMSOIL bottles. My average customer gets about 10% increase in gas mileage. That's a big savings.
Yeah.
And by cutting down friction and drag, for every 10 degrees you cut down the friction and drag, doubles the life of the engine. So by having the engine run cooler, it makes it last longer. Some people like the benefit of the range of the AMSOIL. AMSOIL's flash point is 425 degrees, and it pours at 50 below zero. Wow. If you ever tried petroleum oil when it's 10 below, it turns to honey. And in the summertime, petroleum oil thins out, and once it thins out, that's when it starts breaking down. So AMSOIL is an all-season oil, can give you better gas mileage, longer engine life, less maintenance. It ends up being cheaper over a year's time running AMSOIL than it is petroleum oils.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And AMSOIL is available for pretty much any motorized vehicle, anything from lawn equipment, cars, trucks, boats, ATVs, motorcycles, snowmobiles.
Yep. And a lot of people phone me up and say, well, what's the benefit of our gear lube? Exactly what I told you about the engine oil. It pours in cold weather, it runs cooler, makes the equipment last longer. And they say, well, what's the benefit of the small engine? Same thing. Makes the engine run cooler, last longer, better performance. So it saves on all the applications that AMSOIL has available.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yeah, let's talk now. Hopefully this has convinced people to think about maybe joining us in the AMSOIL experience. Let's talk about some of the discounts and free shipping and how that all happens. I'm going to pop a graphic on the screen. And yeah, by all means, if you want to talk people through how this preferred customer program works.
AMSOIL has a number of different programs. One of our main ones is a catalog customer, where somebody can order directly out of our catalog. If they order out of the catalog, they order $100 worth, AMSOIL will ship it right to their house. But our best program is our preferred customer. For only $10 for 6 months, you become a preferred customer, you save 25% on all the product. You order $100 worth, they're going to give you free shipping. You don't have to order a whole case. You can mix and match. Say you want 4 bottles of small engine, 7 bottles of 5W30, and a couple of gear loops. You can mix and match. You can order 1 bottle at a time if you want. There's no minimums, no maximums. By being a preferred customer, you save over 25% on all the products you're going to buy. AMSOIL sends you extra gifts, a $5 gift certificate on your birthday, $5 when you renew your account, and stuff like that. So it's a good way to save on some of the products you want to buy.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, it's an incredible value. And this is the deepest level of discount that anyone can get when ordering AMSOIL. Is that correct?
It is. It is.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's take people through the step-by-step experience of placing an AMSOIL order. Then that would include signing up for the preferred customer preferred customer program, so they can receive those deepest levels of discount. So let's go to the website. This is what the website's going to look like. These are some screenshots. Once you go to AMSOIL.com, there's a link in the description, or you can just type that into a browser, AMSOIL.com. This is the page you land on. At the upper corner of the page there, you see how I've circled in red. That is the link to click, the Join Now link. That will take you to the preferred customer program page, where you can take advantage of all these discounts and free shipping and everything that we've just been talking about. This is what that page looks like. In the lower right, you're going to click Join Now. This will pop up. You select the duration you'd like, whether it's 6 months or 12 months, and click Add to Cart. Now, once this pop-up goes away, you'll be back on the main page. And the upper left, you'll see where I've got that red arrow. It says Shop. Now you can start shopping for products, and on your very first order, you're going to get these discounts and the free shipping as long as it's over $100. You'll get all of these benefits right away. So once you click Shop, it's going to take you to the product page. There's different types of oils, lubricants, so on and so forth. For the benefit of this exercise we're doing now, I'm just going to click motor oil. It shows different types of motor oil. Let's click gasoline. Now this takes us to an item. It's their synthetic motor oil. And you can see the item there, and there's choices for different viscosities. But take a look at the price. Let's take a closer look. Let's zoom in. But if you've joined the preferred customer program first, you're going to automatically get the deepest levels of discount. That's what we're looking at here. You're saving $3.80 on that quart of oil. Instead of paying $16.29, you're now paying $12.49 for that quart of oil. That is the deepest level of discount you can possibly get. And then you just add the quantity that you'd like. You select any other items that you're thinking about, add them to the cart. And once you click Add to Cart for the final time, you're going to see this come up at the top of the screen. It's going to show your items and your the total that you're at so far. Pardon me. And then you just click View Cart in the upper right, and that'll take you to your cart. Take a close look here at the upper right. That blue box shows that you're getting free shipping. You're eligible for free shipping on this order because it's over $100. That little yellow box shows that you've got the preferred customer membership on your order that gives you the deepest levels of discounts for the next 6 to 12 months. And then below that, you've got the items that have been selected. For the exercise here, I selected 9 quarts of the signature series, but that brings us up over $100 for the free shipping. We're saving $34.20. And if you're ready to finish, you click Checkout Now, and that takes you to this screen here. If you haven't signed up with an AMSOIL account at this point, just click in the lower right to create an account, create a new account. It's going to ask you for some basic information, name and those types of things. Now let's take a closer look. You'll see this gray shaded box. This is a very important box. This is going to ask you if someone has referred you to AMSOIL. And if so, please enter my name. My name is Mike Lapierre. It's spelled right there on the screen for the correct spelling. And also the referral number, 304-555-94. That's how you make sure that Rob and I get credit for this. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I have signed up for AMSOIL under Rob. So when you order using this referral number, Rob and I both benefit. So if you enjoy these podcasts that we're doing, this is a wonderful way to support the podcast, because when you order using this referral number, Rob and I both benefit. And the commissions I make go directly toward offsetting the cost of doing these podcasts. So I thank you in advance for that, for using my referral number. I very much appreciate it. And once you've done that, you just go into the next screen to enter your payment information, and you're done. Now, once you've placed your order that's over $100, and that order includes your AMSOIL Preferred Customer Program, you are now eligible to get a free DVD from myself. Now, this is going to be either a muscle car DVD or a vintage snowmobile DVD. Use the email address on the screen, wkspodcasts@gmail.com. Send me an email. Let me know which DVD you would like me to send you, the muscle car or the vintage snowmobile DVD, and I'll get that right out to you. As you're typing in that email, in the subject line, be sure and type in capital letters, free DVD requests, so it stands out as I'm checking my email, and we'll get that right out to you. So I guess the last thing, Rob, that we wanted to talk about is if someone is considering AMSOIL as a business opportunity.
Yes. If anybody has a retail or a commercial account and they would like to buy directly from AMSOIL, just send Mike a line. He'll show you how to set up, and you can buy directly from AMSOIL. But if you are interested in starting your own part-time business, a part-time business that can grow into a full-time income, Mike and I will show you the AMSOIL marketing plan. AMSOIL has a large selection of products that cover almost every application. So it doesn't matter if you're into snowmobile, boating, or ATVing, or hot rods. We have an oil for every application. It's a fun type business. That's I really enjoy doing. Where else can I go and have fun and make money doing it? And Mike and I are here to help you all the way along. If you need any help on how to promote or to find new accounts, we're here to help you.
For sure. So when you sign up under that number, this 304-555-94, you're getting Rob and I as a team. Now, Rob has been doing AMSOIL for 40 years. Can you believe that? 40 years. So he knows every aspect of this business, and he knows all of the ins and outs of the products. So he'll be able to help you with any kind of product questions or any kind of questions to show you the different business models that you can do with AMSOIL. And then the other thing that you get when you sign up under me is I've got a strong background in social media. So if you need some coaching on how to generate AMSOIL leads using Facebook and YouTube, I'm happy to coach you with that when you sign up under Rob and I. You get both of us as a team to help you, to coach you, to support you, whatever you need to get you off and running with this business and having fun with it. Like Rob said, it's an enormous amount of fun. If you're like Rob and I and you enjoy going to any kind of boat shows, car shows, motorcycle shows, snowmobile shows, anything with a motor, you like going to those shows, those events, those races, this is a great way to turn that into a income opportunity for you.
Yes, yes. And just by wearing my AMSOIL hat at one of these events, people come up and ask me about AMSOIL.
Wonderful.
People don't know where to buy it, and I'm there to help them, show them where they can buy the product.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, cool. Cool. Well, this is great. Any final thoughts, Rob, before we wrap it up?
AMSOIL's a fun business. AMSOIL's been around since 1968. You know, it was the first synthetic oil to be AI approved.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And that's very early in the game too, isn't it?
Yes.
For sure. Well, good. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for viewing. Hopefully, we've gotten you excited as we are about the AMSOIL products. We'd love it if you could join us either as someone who uses the AMSOIL products or to join the AMSOIL team as a business opportunity. And we thank you so much for viewing. Have a great day.
You have a good day.